Hey folks, I'm back with my part two of the story of Aaliyah. Last week I had made part one, so I'm gonna do a part two. As you know, our beloved Aaliyah's milestone, it's a terrible milestone, is coming up, and today's what, April? It's not April, August 10th. So, in a matter of 15 days, it is going to mark Aaliyah's 20th anniversary that she had left us, unfortunately, this month, 20 years ago. And a lot has been, Aaliyah's name has been brought up in the midst of things as more information about R. Kelly and his sexual battery charges with children or with underage minors and stuff is coming up. And now that I hear that her family, I don't even know if it's her family, but apparently her music is being released for streaming on iTunes. But her estate has been cut out of receiving any type of monetary for it. Figures. I'm pretty sure her uncle has a lot to do with that. And iTunes to me doesn't even seem like it's really popping like that. Most people go to Spotify or to Apple Music or shit like that. Like, no one really uses iTunes like that. So, definitely her uncle Barry Hankerson isn't hip or isn't with the time. I know a lot of Aaliyah fans are happy that her music is being released. Me, I'm like meh because I'm pretty sure her evil, devilish uncle Barry Hankerson is pulling some type of strings. And on top of that, it's for money. He needs the money. It's all about money, but none of the money is going to her state. Their state's being cut out of that. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. Last week I was talking about, you know, what was going on with Aaliyah and what she had to endure as far as a sex cult or, being sexually exposed as a minor to an adult. And I was running her mother's name through the mud. Some of R. Kelly's sick ass, helpers like that Demetrius Smith dude, whoever his name was, that wrote a book about him and help fake the wedding certificate so they can get married. But it's sad. And like I said, I was piggybacking off of Jaguar Wright because Jaguar Wright was talking about this not long ago, and she stated, it's not our story to tell, and it's not our story to tell, but this shows you pretty much how sick this music industry is, especially when it comes to our young black women, our young black girls, that we're very vulnerable, and no one cares for us. Even the people that are supposed to love and protect us are the ones who end up turning our backs. And what I was saying was in regards to Aaliyah is that when I meant no one had her back, but a few people, no one had her back. Everyone was paid, and I strongly believe her uncle Barry Hankerson sold her. I believe he sold her because why would you put your not your daughter, your niece? I mean, she technically could be your daughter around someone like your artist, who that's just my dog drinking water in the background, who is, dangerous. This is a dangerous person. Now, it's sad, like I said, you probably wonder, why are you talking about R. Kelly? Well, because R. Kelly's a big part of Aaliyah's story, unfortunately. And I remember my mom was telling me today, I was listening to Aaliyah's song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. I said, yeah. Now we know who wrote that song, and I told her, of course. You know why she was singing that song. Age ain't nothing but a number. Like, she was R. Kelly's protege, so of course she was gonna sing Age ain't nothing but a number. Like, come on now. Let's be for real. But, yeah. And she's like, oh, that's sick. It's sick. Oh, it's very sick. And what I remember, when I told you, I lost my Aaliyah albums. All my Aaliyah albums were destroyed in my car wreck last year, because my car got totaled. When I was listening, I think it was at her song, I Don't Know What to Tell You. And I was listening to some interesting, I think it was in that song where she says, "You want to handcuff me? I don't know what to tell you." When she was singing a song like that, I'm like, wow. And I read somewhere that that song was indicating abuse, or she was talking about abuse. And I do remember before her passing away, when she released the Red album, her song Never No More also covered abuse and spoke about abuse and mistreatment. And I couldn't help to think, is she talking about herself and what possibly she endured? Possibly she endured with R. Kelly. And I mean, many people had hinted on that with her. Like, could that be what she means? We'll never know, because of course she's not here to tell us what happened and what's going on. And I think even if she was here in 2021, Aaliyah would be 42 years old. I don't even think she would want to talk about this. And I mean, I don't blame her. It's really no one's business. And, she didn't have the best support. As I stated, every adult failed this young girl. Every last one of them. And then now with her uncle, and I'm pretty sure her uncle's behind this, with her music being streamed on iTunes, you're not doing this to commemorate her or to celebrate her life. You're doing this simply so you can pocket the money for yourself. Because he owns all her stuff. And I even think years ago, he was selling her masters off, I heard. Like, why would you even do that? And this is what I'm saying. Barry Hankerson is total evil. His niece was nothing more than a pawn to him. And it's sad. It's sometimes people say, "Oh, blood is thicker than water." I will tell you firsthand, that is a crock of shit. It's not. It be your own blood that sell you out and sell you down the river. And that's what happened to this sweet thing during her 22 years of being alive. 22 years is not a long time to live, but in that short span, she's accomplished a lot. And what's sad about it is when her life was falling into place, when she was finally ridding herself of R. Kelly, becoming her own woman, getting movie deals, getting more music deals and stuff, her life ends. Her life abruptly ends. And it's sad because now we have to sit and wonder, what could she have been? What would she be doing? What would she look like today? What would it be like today with her and Beyonce going neck and neck at each other? But she definitely paved the way for folks like Beyonce, like Rihanna, like, what's her name? Tina Shea. Even though Tina Shea, or whatever her name is, Tinashe, whatever, was trying to be shady years ago, talking about, "Oh, I don't know who Aaliyah is. Who's Aaliyah?" Girl, bye. You know who Aaliyah is. Because you try to imitate her. You try to emulate her hairstyle. You try to emulate her dress. You know who the hell Aaliyah is. And by the way, Tinashe, whatever her name is, she wasn't that great of an artist. You don't hear about her anymore. Thank God. Even T-Pain was throwing shade on her name. Well, Aaliyah wasn't that great of an artist. No one said she was the bomb, but she definitely left her imprint on the world. And she's only hyped up because she's dead. Yet you were trying to sample her music for one of your songs, but you're gonna talk shit on her name. I swear, people are so fake out in this industry. It's sad. It really is. But back to what I was saying with Aaliyah and what happened to her is, and we'll go back to that fateful day of August 25th, There's a lot of conspiracy going around that. We'll lay off the R. Kelly thing because we don't give a fuck about R. Kelly. I mean, R. Kelly apparently, was popping a little boy in the butt. So, you can't even call Michael Jackson king of popping little boys because the Pied Piper was sticking his pipe also in little boys too. And I mean, that named, like I said, as a kid, I told my mom that Pied Piper gave me the creeps. It was something so perverted and so distorted about him. He had this damn rusty pipe and would come out with his bagpipe and the pipe and playing that flute, doo-doo, doo-doo, with his kilt, luring children. And it's like, the fact that he selected such a name for himself says a lot. I am not talking to anybody that calls themselves the Pied Piper. That tells me you're sick. Tells me you're sick. I don't be around you. You're sick. I don't be around you. You call yourself the Pied Piper, you might want to get some help. Or Rumpelstiltskin. And that might be my next video. I might actually talk about how perverted bedtime stories are. But yeah. Back to Aaliyah. Back to that fateful day, in the Bahamas. I also realized too the plane that she took when she first landed in the Bahamas when she came from Florida. Because I remember her brother Rashad said that she was filming in Florida and then she went over. The Record wanted her to go over to the Bahamas, I guess for more Caribbean experience, and I'm like, why did she need to do that? Because, she was fine filming in Florida, but whatever. I mean, she didn't complain, and that's what her brother said. She was a workaholic, Rashad Houghton. She was a workaholic, and she did what she did. And she went over to the Bahamas. I heard her stay there wasn't the most pleasant. She came on August 22nd, 3 days before that fateful crash, and I heard that she really did not have much of a pleasant stay there during her time. But however, she enjoyed shooting, had fun, did her choreography with Fatima and everybody else, and of course she looked gorgeous. Just stunning. I personally cannot sit and watch Rock the Boat anymore. I haven't watched that video like that anymore. Because it's hard. Even almost 20 years later, it's hard to watch. It's so surreal that she was here one moment and then in the blink of an eye she's gone. She vanished into a burst of fire. And I would just say Aaliyah's death was pure negligence. And it seemed like a lot of people were negligent of this young lady during her lifetime. And I'm saddened that she was called home just at the peak of her life and of her career. And it's like we got cheated, but not even we as people. It's like she got cheated because just when her life was falling into place, she's gone. She vanishes. All on someone's negligence. I'm trying not to cry here, so if I seem a little watery-eyed, because it still hurts, It hurts to this day that she's not here. And all the, she was, I wouldn't even say the sacrificial lamb. I think that's too pious of something, but she did lay the underground work for other artists to be successful. Whether people want to give her credit or not, 20 years later, she's still relevant. She'll always be relevant because she was music. That was her music. She was music. She was the blueprint for Beyonce, for Kelly Rowland, for all these, Brandy, all of them, when she came out. It was all about Aaliyah, refreshing. Like she said, my name is Aaliyah. Aaliyah, or she says, this is the Liyah. That's what she used to say. Aaliyah, like Muhammad Ali. And, it's sad. Sad she's not here. And for what I heard, the bodies, when they recovered the bodies, it was so bad that the emergency team, when they came to the site where the plane crashed in Marsh Harbor, that they needed blankets and all sorts of stuff. And poor Aaliyah was off to the side, like, still attached to her chair. But she was so small, they thought she was a child. Yeah, she was a teeny thing. No, she was 22, she was young, so she was, 5'7", probably barely 120 pounds. Yeah, she was teeny. And it was sad. It was sad to hear that. I heard the body was in terrible shape. Some said her hair was spurned off. Some people say her hair was intact. But apparently she had a closed casket at her funeral. But of course her mom had to go down to the Bahamas to identify her and bring her home. And I know I ripped Diane Houghton to shreds because of her negligence. But I'm quite sure her pain of losing her daughter was great. But I think maybe that's my fear of becoming a parent. I don't want to have to identify my child in a morgue. Because I know mentally and emotionally and physically, I'm not going to be able to take that. And why God took her, I have no say so. But I've always believed the reason why the Lord called Aaliyah back home to his service was because she wasn't being properly cared for here. She was neglected. And too much harm has been done to her. And I just wish the Lord had allowed her to just have a better start, instead of claiming her life. And it's sad. 20 years is a long time to be gone. And then some. But, we still continue to listen to her music. I listened to some of her music. I remember recently, I was looking at a clip of her when she was on, what was it? New York Undercover? Yeah. But, she left her mark on this world. Even though she lived here very briefly, she left her mark. I guess the motto of my video about her is, parents, if your child is talented or has a gift, don't be so dead set on your child's fame where you don't focus on their safety, where you don't focus on their mental and emotional health. Because, and again, like her mother, Diane Houghton, and all of them, they weren't there for her. But I heard around the time when Aaliyah was filming Rock the Boat, her father I think her mom had eye surgery, and I think her father had some type of heart problem. So the mother had to take care of Michael Houghton, had to be taken care of by Diane Houghton. Diane Houghton had her eye surgery. And Rashad, I forgot what Rashad was into. But again, around the time where she actually needed the family, no one was available because they had their own stuff. And that led to her untimely demise. And I'm not blaming them. I mean, her father had a health issue. Her mom had eye surgery, and I don't know I forgot what Rashad was up to. But Yeah. 20 years later, she's still a fashion statement. You don't know how many girls are still rocking that swoop. The swoop bang with the hair over the eyes. Um, Rocking her outfits or something like it. I wanted to be her from Queen of the Dam, Akasha, but my body was never in shape for that. Again, I would have to really work my ass off, and this summer I just been lazy. But hey, fall is coming. Maybe if I work off this fall, maybe I can pull it off, God willing, next year and be Akasha for Halloween. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video in regards to Aaliyah. This is part two. I don't know if there's going to be a part three to this. You know, I found out a lot of stuff about her I didn't know. It might be a part three. We'll see. Well, you have a good evening, folks.